Hey, fifth graders, this is Miss Mallory here, and I want to talk to you today about text structures. So first of all, let's just talk about how does an author organize a nonfiction text? So do they just start writing? Think about yourself as a writer. Do you just start writing pen to paper or hands to keyboard and get your best writing out of that? Or do you need to do some sort of a plan first? I'm guessing you need to do a plan. You probably do a T-chart or a web or a BME chart before you start writing. Well, believe it or not, people who actually write nonfiction books, they do the same thing. They have to plan it out first. And they use a few different structures to help them plan that out. So their plan or a structure is similar to like a plan for a house. If you are going to build a house, you need to figure out what you're going to do first. If you don't, your house might end up looking like this one with a tire on the roof because you didn't plan out how you were going to support it and keep the roof down. Maybe you ran out of supplies. Well, over here, the house on the right with the brick, obviously you can tell they had a plan. They had some structure to their house building. They didn't just start throwing things together. Similar here for a nonfiction text. So a text structure. You might be asking, what is a text structure? What is she talking about? Well, a text structure is a structure which is a building or a framework for a piece of writing. Text structures, the word, refers to how a piece of text is built. Builders can use different kinds of structures to build different things. For example, a skyscraper is a different kind of structure from a house. Writers use different structures to build their ideas. Each text structure communicates ideas in a different way. There are lots of different types of text structures. What I want you to do right now is take those cards that I gave you at the beginning of the lesson, and I want you to try to figure out the big bold words have the text structure titles, and then the other cards that have sentences on them are the definitions. I want you to try to match them up, kind of like a little matching game. See if you can figure out which titles of the text structures fit which definitions. Go ahead and press pause and do that now. Okay, so now you're back, so you must have aligned those up. I'm going to tell you about each text structure now, and your job is to kind of look at your cards and see if they're lined up correctly. The first text structure we're going to talk about is description. This is when a topic, idea, person, place, or thing is described in the writing. They did do this by listing its features, characteristics, or examples. So if we look here, this one is a web that they use to plan this. So they're going to write an article that looks like about a fish, maybe going fishing or watching a fish. They're going to talk about what it smells like, what it would feel like, what it tastes like, might give some examples, what it looks like, and what it sounds like. When an article is a description article, it's just telling you all the details about that item. Lots of times you'll see these signal words. For example, for instance, specifically, in particular, or in addition. They're going to just be telling you a lot about whatever their topic is, whether it's sharks or surfing or the Sheridan Bronx. The next one we're going to talk about is sequential. This one, aka, which means otherwise known as, chronological. Sequential or chronological means that they describe events in order or explain the steps one must follow to do something or make something. So as you can see here, these pictures show step by step how to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich. That's sequential or chronological. You might have also heard this be called procedural in your reading groups, or even functional, where it's telling you how to do something and you get something in the end. When you're reading a sequential or chronological text, you're going to hear signal words like first, second, next, last, another, then, finally, after that, and before. The third text structure we're going to look at is compare and contrast. This is when they're taking two or more things that are alike and showing how they are alike, but also showing how they're different. So if you can look at this little Venn diagram here, Venn diagrams are perfect for compare and contrast. This one is looking at lions and tigers, so you would figure out how they're the same and how they're different. Contrast words you might see on this blue side are different from, however, although, on the other hand. Some more contrast words on the green part of the circle are as opposed to, more than, less than, or on the contrary. And some comparing words are similar to, alike, same as, not only, but also, resemble, as well, and both. So anytime you're having two things and they're comparing and contrasting, telling you how they're alike or different, that text structure is called compare and contrast. Next up is the text structure of cause and effect. So cause and effect shows a relationship between the cause, which is an event, and the effect of what happens because of the event. Lots of times you'll see little planners like this where the cause is maybe a rainstorm and the effects is a rainbow, or maybe a flood, maybe even somebody getting hurt or dying from that flood, or a rain shower can also just cause spring flowers to grow. Okay? Signal words for a cause and effect nonfiction text would be consequently, therefore, as a result, reason why, because of, may be due to. Those are the kind of words you're going to notice in a cause and effects text structure. Next up, problem and solution. I like this one a lot. It tells about a problem and then gives one or sometimes even more than one solution. So here you can see the problem is spilt milk and the solution is paper towels. In a writing piece, it might be that the problem was a big hurricane came and made a big disaster of a town. And the solution is the Red Cross showed up and they helped the town out. Okay. Another problem would be maybe that everybody was slipping and falling on the ice outside, and the solution was the janitors decided to spend some extra money on extra salt to make it not slippery. Okay. Signal words you'd find in a problem solution would be consequently, thereby, therefore, as a result, leads to, and because of. Sometimes problem and solution can be very similar to a cause and an effect. So we'll kind of work with those and practice identifying those and making sure we know which is which. So the last thing I want you to do is to try that text structure, scramble, and sort one more time. Mix them all up and then see if you can match them all up. Once you have them matched, raise your hand and have one of myself or Mrs. Ralston come check it and see if you're right. Thanks, guys. Good job today.